I am the alumni director, and I have responsibility for some of the events here at Alter High School. So I have the pleasure of welcoming you to Lourdes Lambert's Night of Gratitude. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was really nice to have you in our new space. It's nice to have you in our new theater. It's so wonderful to see so many great faces from so many different eras here at Alter. So thank you. I'd like to start off with opening prayer. So if you'll join me in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us all here tonight. We thank you for all of the wonderful people in this room who are so generous to Alter High School and to our community. We pray they fully understand the impact they have at this school and how they impact the lives of our students through their genuine interest and generosity. I also ask you, Lord, that you continue to bless our school as we move forward in the path of greatness. Bless our principal and CEO, our students, and all of our families with health, peace, and love. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Again, thank you to all of you in this room tonight for your generous support of Alter. We know there are so many places that you can invest, and we are so honored that Alter is one of those places. We do have a scholarship here at Alter called the Knights Council Leadership Scholarship, for those of you that haven't heard of it. This scholarship provides some funding for a student's freshman year. It's based mostly on the student's leadership experience and their potential. You may be wondering who funds that scholarship, and the answer is you do. All of you fund that scholarship. So by giving to the Knights at the Knights Council level that you all do, we spread those gifts to many areas throughout the school, so there's all sorts of needs that we have, but one of those needs certainly is scholarships, and some of your funds are given to this scholarship. So just to tell you a bit more about that scholarship, and you'll hear why this is important here in a minute, but, and some of you have heard me tell this story. Years ago, we had this reception, and I don't know how many of you in the room were part of that at that time. We had small thank you gifts for all of our donors. And I apologize if you were hoping you have a small thank you gift on your locker under your seat, but you do not. You do not. Because at that time, the donors said, hey, really we'd rather spend that money on the Alter students. So we took that money and we made two $1,000 scholarships, and that's the Knights Council Scholarship that we're talking about today. And so then as we went to choose those students, so a couple of years later, there were some of the givers are part of that process, and they sat with some of the Alter teachers in the room that select, and they said, oh my gosh, how can we pick just two people? We can't do that. So these Knights Council level givers said, we're adding two more to this. We're adding two more $1,000 scholarships. So we are where we are today with four $1,000 Knights Council level scholarships, which is fabulous and so appreciated, and I think you'll hear a little bit about that today. Now, the scholarship is not easy to win. There are a ton of applicants, and there are a lot of requirements too as part of the application process itself. These students have to be nominated by their 8th grade teachers and their principal for all of their outstanding leadership things they've done up to that point in 8th grade. They have to submit an application with letters of recommendation. They have to be interviewed by a group of adults. The interview is about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I'm sure it felt like an hour to them. There's a panel of people. I mean, it's amazing how they did. And they have to author an essay. So you can imagine some 12 and 13-year-old kids would say, I'm out. I'm not doing that, right? But we had a lot of kids that applied. So we narrowed down all of the applicants. And tonight we'll be sharing a few of those future leaders with you. While there are so many student leaders, as many of you know at Alter, I think these four will impress you for sure. So as you listen, I ask you to please realize the impact of your investment at Alter, because it's great. And this is just one of the ways your investment is continuing us on the path of greatness. So these student leaders who are here today, they're dynamic, they're confident, they're compassionate, they're driven young people for sure. And I'm excited for Lourdes to tell you a little bit more about them. So I know most of you in the room have met and know our principal and CEO, Lourdes Lambert. If you don't, you will learn how connected she is to our students. And one thing for sure I've learned over my 6 years here now is just every decision she makes, she has the student's best interest in mind. And that, as parents, as donors, we want to know that, right? So it is my pleasure to welcome Ms. Lourdes Lambert.
Director of Advancement, Amy Miller, our Director of Marketing. They work so hard. Lisa Saturno, our volunteer coordinator, they were tireless in setting this up, and I think they did a marvelous job. So thank you very much. So I want to add to the list of accomplishments of our honorees is that they're also great dancers. They were teaching me all the Fortnite dances. We may have a little presentation for you later. Our first honoree today is someone near and dear to my heart, and his name is Max Holman. I first met Max in the 1st grade at Bishop Leibold because he is a classmate of my daughter's. Now, the reason I came to know Max Holman is that she came home that day and told me she had turned her card. And I said, what happened? And she said, well, Max and I were writing on the tables. I said, well, who is this Max? So I just asked him, I said, Max, do you remember that? He said, oh yeah, Mrs. Blair's class, 1st grade. Max is someone who has never met a stranger. He's charming, he's personable, but more than anything, he loves his family and he loves God. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say to you tonight. So, 2018 graduate from Bishop Leibold and altar knight, Max Holman.
Mrs. Lambert said, my name is Max Holman, I'm a freshman here at Alter High School. Technically, I've only been a student here for 2 months, but I've been an altar knight ever since I was a ball boy for the football team in 3rd grade. I attended Bishop Leibold School from kindergarten until 8th grade. My dad, David, graduated in 1987 from Alter. But on the other hand, my mom, Amy, graduated from 1988 from CJ. My brother Sam graduated in the class of 2018 and currently attends Bowling Green State University. My sister Mara, a junior here, as well as my youngest sister Ellie, who's a 5th grader at Bishop Leibold. Over the past 6 years, I've cheered in the student section at state championship games, recorded plays and musicals for the Castle players, worked at open houses, helped out at football camps, and set up and cleaned more altar events than I can count on both my hands. But what makes it different for me now is that I'm actually a student. And as my parents keep telling me, paying a lot of tuition. I keep reminding them that the people in this room have helped me, my family, and other students through their generosity and support. As an altar knight, I'm included in the Student Advisory Administration Board, football team on Friday nights, filming various things, and mainly filming for the Castle players. I hope to join more clubs and activities throughout my time at Altar. And I can promise to everyone in this room that I will represent and act like an altar knight I know and am capable of being. I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Lane, who are not here tonight, and I would like to thank Mrs. Shiv and Mrs. Shear for making this possible to me and my fellow students. Thank you all for making this available to all the past and future recipients of this scholarship. God bless, and go Knights.
He does not disappoint. Though I know Amy's tired of the CJ cracks. I'm sorry. The next student we have to introduce is Michael Lance. Michael is a 2018 graduate of Incarnation School, and he's very committed to his schoolwork. He's very caring and compassionate, and he's already very involved at Altar. He is the last child. He is the baby in a long line of Lances, all that I have had the pleasure to know, and I am so blessed to know Michael. He is an incredible young man, mature beyond his years, and though he told me he left his dance moves at home, I don't believe him. Michael Lance.
Hello, as Mrs. Lambert said, my name is Michael Lance, and I'm blessed to be one of 4 Knights Council Leadership Scholarship recipients. As the youngest of 5 kids, I feel like I have grown up at Altar. It has always been a part of my life. Now that I'm a student here, I get to see firsthand what makes Alter High School so special, and I want to make the most of my time here. I've already joined several clubs: Key Club, Spanish Club, and Fashion Club. And yes, I'm in Fashion Club. I play football for the freshman team, and I plan on joining student ambassadors next year. Outside of school, I enjoy fitness training, and I have my own DJ business. Even though I've only been at Alter since August, I already feel like I have made so many new friends and strengthened my friendships with old friends. I love that at Alter we pray together before every class and every event, be it a football game or a club meeting. God is the center of everything we do. This makes me thankful for having the opportunity to go to school here. I would like to thank all the scholarship donors. Your generosity is inspiring. After my interview with Mrs. Shear, Mrs. Shem, and Mr. and Mrs. Lane, I told my mom that I hope to someday be able to pay this forward, to sponsor a scholarship for an incoming freshman at Alter and make a difference in someone's life. It is an honor to be a recipient of the scholarship, and I assure you that I take the opportunity that you have given me very seriously. Please know that your money is well invested and much appreciated. It makes me strive to be the best friend, the best leader, the best Christian, and the best alternate I can be. Again, thank you, and God bless.
Wait a minute, there's 5 Lances? I only know 4. I don't know them all. Our next student to introduce is Ashley Fortman. Ashley is enthusiasm personified, and she is so focused and so driven, you forget that she's a freshman. Ashley is so well known that at the graduation and incarnation, I could tell who she was before anybody pointed her out to me. Her smile is infectious. Her principal, Mrs. Coughlin, spoke so highly of her that we were intrigued to meet her when she came in for the interview. Thank you, Ashley, for always giving back, for always thinking of others first, and for providing service to those in need. Miss Ashley Fortman.
Hello everyone, I'm Ashley Fortman, and as previously spoken, I'm a freshman at Alter. Coming into Alter, I knew that I wanted to be involved with as many clubs and activities that I could. Right now, I am playing Alter Girls Junior Varsity Soccer, and I plan to be playing on the first girls lacrosse team ever at Alter, so that's exciting. I am also in Horizons in Medicine Club, Upper Room, Key Club, Spanish Club, Building Our Lives Drug-Free or Bold Club, Fashion Club like Mike, and Knights for Life. Outside of school, I am very involved with service in my community. Going to a Catholic school all my life has taught me the importance of service. Through church functions and other events provided to me by Alter, I have fallen in love with the idea of helping others. One of my favorite types of service to do is helping people with special needs. I was in charge of the special needs program at Vacation Bible School for Incarnation in the summer, and also I volunteered at a summer camp called Stepping Stones down in Cincinnati, which also is provided for kids with special needs. And I also help at my younger cousin's soccer association called TOPS and other fundraising activities for Down syndrome like the Buddy Walk. Without the morals instilled in me by my family and the Incarnation Alter family, I probably wouldn't be given such amazing opportunities. Along with wanting to be involved, I also wanted to make as big of an impact on the students at Alter as I could. So far at Alter, it is incredible to me the love and support that is shown through those halls. I have made friends through both school and soccer that I know will last a lifetime in just the first 2 months of my school year. I am so thankful to go to a school that allows me to grow to my full potential. I am also blessed to live in a community that provides so many amazing schools. One of the biggest reasons, though, that I'm an Alter Knight is my family. My aunts and uncles went to Alter back in the day. My mom was, as I am, an Alter Knight. The O'Brien family bleeds brown and gold, as some would say. The only way that I'm able to uphold this tradition by attending such a prestigious and incredible school is through the financial support, such as the Knights Council Leadership Scholarship. This has helped my family tremendously. It feels like between clubs, school, soccer, and service that I work a full-time job, and my parents do too. This scholarship has shown my family that hard work does pay off, and that is all thanks to the people sitting in this room right now. So, I would like to take this moment to thank you. Thank you to my awesome friends over there who spoke for being just awesome. Thank you to my family right there who spends every second of their day working so hard so I can have it better than they did. Thank you to everyone who contributed to furthering my Altar legacy, for it's your generosity that allows my family's tradition to continue. With your support, I am able to attend Archbishop Altar High School. I thank you with my whole heart for giving me such an amazing opportunity. Thanks.
Last but certainly not least is Tommy Nazer. Tommy, what grade were you in when I met you at Altar Fest? Third. Tommy was wearing a football jersey, and I said, are you going to be an altar knight? And he said, I hope so. And what I have never forgotten that day, he's an amazing person with a great smile. Every day that Tommy is here at school, he's helping others, he's greeting, he's welcoming, he's amazing. Tommy's a graduate of St. Albert the Great, and I'm so glad that his principal from St. Albert could be here tonight to witness all of the fruits of their labor. Mr. Tommy Nazer.
As Mrs. Lambert said, my name is Tommy Nazer. I am a freshman here at Altar, and it has been one of the best experiences of my life. I play football and wrestle here at Altar, and the brotherhood that has already been embedded in most freshmen is amazing. As an Altar student athlete, not only does my team have each other's back, but the whole school. Altar is quite literally one big happy family, and I am blessed to be a part of it. Everybody has each other's back, and there's not one situation you can find yourself in that you wouldn't have other nights to fall back on. Outside of Altar, I have a very loving, caring, and, well, goofy family. The youngest member of my family is my baby sister, Ella. She may be 5, but she'll always be the baby of the family. She plays soccer at St. Albert, and I hope that one day she'll be able to play here. Then there's my little brother, Max, or what we like to call him, Monster Max. He is 6 years old and the most clever, goofy, yet somehow still caring kid you'll ever meet. Then there's Emma. She's very intelligent, humorous, and truly one of my best friends. She cheers for Altar's theater program and hopes to get the opportunity to learn and cheer here. Then there's myself, and finally, my parents. My parents are the most amazing parents a child could ask for. They taught me so much on being a good Catholic, a good student, a hardworking athlete, and truly just an all-around great person. My mom always has my back, even when she knows I'm wrong. And my dad has made me who I am now. He has been my #1 role model and my best friend. He has pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, and I might have hated it then, but I can't thank him enough now that I'm looking back on it. He always makes me smile, even the day of his deployment a few years ago, he was able to. Without him, I wouldn't be standing here today. He made me into the young man I am. He has helped me to be brave, clever, funny, kind, humble, hardworking, faithful, and so many more qualities. And Altar is just like my family. I have not only wonderful teachers here at Altar, but also great friends and teammates. I always feel loved no matter where I am, and I always have people to fall back on. I don't know what I would do without the altar community. It is a true blessing that I'm a part of this community. All of you have made my dream since I was in kindergarten come true. I remember when I was in grade school, I went to Altar Fest and met Mrs. Lambert for the first time. She asked me if I was going to be an altar, and I said that we're not for sure yet, but I would love nothing more than to be an altar knight. My whole life I knew that we'd have to win the lottery to be capable to come to such a prestigious school. When I was awarded this scholarship, it truly did feel like winning the lottery. It meant so much to my family and me to be blessed with this opportunity, and I promise I won't let you down. With that being said, I would like to thank every single one of you in this room from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and go Knights.
Investment is doing, because truly without you we wouldn't be sitting in this theater today, and we wouldn't have the awesome improvements that we have in programming. So I want to say thank you also. I can't say it as beautifully as those four did, but I will do my best. So what's happening at Altar? We're blessed to have 606 students this year. Our freshman class is the biggest at 171. We have 126 sophomores, 165 juniors, and 144 seniors. Those juniors are close to the freshmen. So we are excited that we are above our enrollment projection as a whole, and we're happy to be able to greet all of those students on a daily basis. So what do I consider the strengths of Altar High School? Of course, all of you, our amazing parents, our incredible students, and our engaged and committed faculty and staff. Being a Catholic school teacher is not for the weak of heart, especially on the 15th and the 30th when you get your paycheck. But they are so tireless and so thankful to be here every day. It is truly inspiring. As you know, we have rigorous academics, and we have a little bit of an athletic presence too. And people always ask me, how did you become the principal of an athletic powerhouse? I said, I will have you know there was not one question about athletics in that interview. Thank God. So I will tell you that the best thing that they asked me was how I felt about being the spiritual leader of a Catholic school. And I said that that would be a dream come true for me, to share my faith and to give witness to all that God has done in my life. And what better job is there where you get to see the face of God every day? We've got great, unique educational opportunities here. You're sitting in a conservatory of the arts, unlike no other. We've got a Conservatory of the Arts diploma that no other school in this area can boast. We have an entrepreneurship program made possible by the generosity of a Knights Council donor and all of you, where for the first time ever, our Spirit Shop is going online thanks to a group of students that meets first period every day. It is so exciting. I can't wait. I'm not really much of an online shopper because I like to see the clothes, but I'm going to shop too. Don't worry. We've got great STEM programming, and the foundational principle of STEM being inquiry-based learning. We've got so many expert teachers at the inquiry-based learning, asking questions, figuring out answers to problems. That's every day, isn't it? I always say that it would be so much easier to be a mom or to be a principal if these darn kids came with instructions. But isn't that all of life? Nobody comes with instructions, and we just have to figure it out. We are so blessed to be in a secure school, to have had the forethought 6 years ago to change our security system, because unfortunately we live in such an uncertain time that we have to protect our children. We've got so many volunteers, so many opportunities, such a bright future. None of these things would be possible without you. Know that I pray for all of you as I pray for our students and our families, and I am grateful. And just like we used to in the old days when we were in the lobby, I'm happy to answer your questions too. I can see a little bit, but I'm happy to answer your questions too. I feel like we should have like a roving microphone. Yes.
Lourdes, could you ask the parents of these children, these students, I'm sorry, to stand up so we can acknowledge them?
Absolutely. Mr. and Mrs. Holman. Mr. and Mrs. Lance. And Mr. and Mrs. Nazer are right up there. You won't be able to tell it. We could pick Tommy's dad out. We didn't have to introduce him. Thank you. I agree. Is this amazing? What a great job they've done. Any other questions?
I just want to thank the kids that I don't have to write an annual
Hey,
fund
Rick.
letter. I'm just going to use their video for the annual fund letter.
Yes, amazing, amazing. And I'm sure you all know Rick Willits, but he's another reason why we're in this room today. Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Willits. Oh, look, Rick's parents can stand up.
What do you see the future moving forward? What do you see happening?
You know, we've got a lot of questions that we need to answer. With this theater, we completed a strategic planning process, a plan that was 10 years old. That was way too long. So we've got questions that people ask us that we need to have answered. So we're going to do, now don't get super excited, we're doing a study to see if we can air condition the school. I know. You're like, yes. We're doing a study, an HVAC study, to see what's possible there. Because no longer can it just be that we're strong, we're nice, it builds character. We've got to have an answer. Why don't we have air conditioning at this point? So I see us definitely looking at improving our facilities, Mrs. Willits. I see us, there are quite a few athletic donors that would love to make some things possible for us, right, Rick? Always. But I really see us continuing to be the competitive advantage for a lot of families. I was so proud to open the Dayton Business Journal and see that we were the #2, first among Catholic schools, but the #2 private school in this area, second only to the Miami Valley Academy. I was over the moon. But you can't rest. You have to continue, as Kim has said so eloquently, on the path of greatness. But the best thing that we do, I think, is to prepare one another for heaven, right? We can't do that in a vacuum. But we do have to continue to prepare one another in our faith for the next step in our journey, no matter where that journey takes us. Did I answer your question? Okay, good. Any other questions? I just want you all to know that after 8 years, it's so nice to look in the audience and know everyone. And it's so nice to continue to be in this community. I am blessed. I had never even considered another place for my daughter. And now that she is a freshman here, I can see how amazing the teachers and the community really is. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I would like to turn your attention to the screen we have a video with my favorite song by Miley Aceville. If you were here last year, you heard her singing it. But I hope that you'll